Hey craft buddies, today I'm bringing you a big wrap up of a ton of fall favorites, everything from hacks to recipes, even some DIYs. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. This is going to be a fun one. You're watching Whiskey and Whit. My name is Whitney, and a huge welcome back to my whiskey craft buddies who are here each and every week to DIY with me. We recently hit 300,000 craft buddies, and I am so incredibly grateful. So thank you for being here. If you're not already a craft buddy and you want to join us, be sure to hit subscribe before you leave so you won't miss any future DIYs coming up. I've got the whole Christmas season still left this year. Now let's get into it.
Every time I share dip recipes with you guys, you tell me you take them to parties and you love them, so I've got some new ones for you. This one is going to be a sweet one. I've also got a savory one. You're going to start with a block of cream cheese and add one can or one regular size can of pumpkin pie mix, not pumpkin puree because it will not taste good. You want to make sure that you have the pumpkin pie mix and you're going to use a hand beater to mix that up. Now, if you have a bigger can like me, I just used half the can. Then once that's mixed up, you're going to fold in a whole container of Cool Whip. Now you can opt for lower fat cream cheese. You can also opt for the low sugar Cool Whip. Granted, this is not a low calorie dip. It's delicious, but it's not low cal, so just keep that in mind. Once you fold in your Cool Whip, it's going to be ready to go. This is the color and consistency you're looking for. What I like to do to make it look a little bit more presented and plated is I add a little bit of cinnamon on top. I put it in a bowl and then I put that in a pie tin with some vanilla wafers and ginger snaps. You can add a little broken cookie in there and then add some berries. I also wanted a pumpkin on there, but it kept falling off. So what I did is I took a toothpick, I pushed it into the pumpkin, and then it sat between my dip container and my outside container. How cute is this? You could put this together in literally 15 minutes as you're walking out the door to any fall get-together, football party, anywhere that you need to bring a dish to pass. Super quick and easy. And you guys, this dip is delicious. It's like pumpkin fluff. So good. And then save that Cool Whip container. Put your extras in there. So then that way, if you got to refill the bowl, you don't risk like leaving your Tupperware anywhere. So as promised, this next one is savory. It's going to start with Philadelphia whipped herb, cream cheese, and daisy sour cream. I saw this on Instagram. Here is the creator's information, and I knew I had to try it, but I also kind of put my own spin on it. You're going to mix together 8 ounces of sour cream, a 7.5 ounce container of that whipped Philadelphia cream cheese, and a packet of onion soup mix. Then I decided to add some of these French's crispy onions in there, just a little sprinkle, and then I plated it up and then topped it with the French fried onions. This is French onion dip, but like 12 times better. Everyone's going to ask you for this recipe, and I'm going to serve it up and plate it the exact same way, but with some rigid potato chips, so like wavy Lays, Ruffles, anything of that nature so they don't break in a hearty dip. And this is another one, quick and easy, throw it together, and people are going to be asking you for your recipe because this is so dang good. You're going to want some of this double-sided tape or Dollar Tree's balloon glue in your decorating stash for this year. Let me show you why. I had this vision for this cornucopia that I bought at the at-home store, and unfortunately, my vision was to have them cascade and they won't sit on their own, these Dollar Tree pumpkins. So I added some of this double stick tape to the bottom, the side, wherever it was going to connect with another pumpkin. The great thing is it's not going to ruin those pumpkins, but it's going to stick them together so you can get that airy, floaty feeling, which aligned right with my vision. This would also be great for things like bats and leaves, and they're not going to ruin these types of items. I just wouldn't stick them to paper, but overall, they are great for plasticky pumpkins like this. So many craft buddies told me you guys loved my vintage candy DIYs that I shared in my Halloween video. And so I have been wanting to do this, and I thought, why not share this, because I have a feeling you guys are going to like it too. I started with this Dollar Tree cutout of a jack-o'-lantern. I removed the tag, and then I figured out which way I wanted the stem to go. Then I painted the bottom orange and the top stem green. I also broke out my old hairdryer to dry the paint because I ended up doing 2 coats of each to make sure it was covered, and I did not want to sit around and wait for it to dry. Then I pulled up inspo from Peach Darling on TikTok, and that was the look I was going for. So you guys know, pulled up an inspo thing, free-handed, just kind of roughed out where the lines go. So you basically want to offset the 2 eyes to the right, the nose to the right, and then I followed the mouth, how that was supposed to look. So here's what that looked like roughed out. Then I took my makeup brushes, mixed together 2 different yellows to get the yellow that I wanted, and I colored in those areas. The makeup brush helps you get more straight, precise lines, which I like the look of, and that is how you're going to get this vintage look. but I promise you, you can definitely do this. Stick with me. Once I filled in all those areas, I taped a piece of black cardstock to the back so the eyes would be black so I could kind of have a little bit more of an idea of where everything was going to lay out. And then I grabbed my favorite black paint marker from Amazon and I started outlining. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to outline everything, and then you're also going to add the little accents depending on the vintage look you're going for. So I'm outlining everything, including the yellow, and you also want to outline on the inside of the eyes. I'm also doing these lines from the inspo on the bottom right corner of both eyes and the 3 teeth, and that is going to make it look a little more 3D. Now make sure you don't put your hand in the paint marker like I did, because you can see the little bobble up in the right, but don't worry, I painted over it. And then we are going to really make this sing. We're going to go around the outside with that same black paint marker and create a thick outline. And then I am also going to add some lines to the stem at the top. And then we're going to add some lines to create the curvature of the pumpkin. The great thing about vintage decor is the more homemade it looks, I feel like the more charming it feels. So don't feel like it has to be perfect. Mine's definitely not, but I love this, and the vintage Halloween vibes are just so fun with this. And it's so nice because A, I made it myself, and B, it came from Dollar Tree. This was only $1.50. Oh, just look how cute he is. I love him so much. I think I'm going to hang him on our front door come October 1st for Halloween decor. But you could put him as a sign. You could do so many different things with this, but I love it. If you decide to paint your own vintage jack-o'-lantern sign, please share and tag me. Are your towels always falling off your stove and dishwasher bar in your kitchen? Well, this hack is for you. Grab some pop dot tape, and I like to use the middle to largest size. I cut a piece that's just a couple inches long, peel off the piece that covers the other side of the double stick adhesive, set up my towel, stick it down, and you're good to go. It's going to hold it in place, but you're easily able to peel it off if you need to wash those towels, and you can even dry your hands while it's on there. This is a game changer. If you've been around for a while on my channel, you've heard me talk about my support of mental health and mental health causes, especially with what I dealt with postpartum. Now, this is an idea that I plan on doing for my friends this year, and I wanted to share it as well because I think this would be great, especially this time of year when seasonal depression hits a lot of folks extra hard. Head to Dollar Tree, you can find a variety of cards. You can do seasonal, or you can even just do the blank inside, thinking of you, tons of options, and just write a fun message to your friend. Stamps are a couple cents, and you can also order them online if you can't get to the post office, but getting mail like this really helps brighten someone's day, let them know that you're thinking about them, and maybe bring some light to them in a dark part of the year. I am a sucker for a festive beverage, and usually that costs me a ton of money, so here are two of my favorites I'm making at home in an effort to save this fall. The first one is an apple option. I use a caramel sauce that I get from Walmart. This is 0 sugar to help keep that down, but you could definitely use the full octane stuff. Roll it around your glass, add some ice, and then pour half of your cup apple cider, half a Sprite. You could also use ginger ale, ginger beer, or sparkling water if you'd rather do that. I add just a little bit of cinnamon, and if you want to be extra bougie like me, I got some freeze-dried apple slices at Walmart. You throw them in there, the drink rehydrates them. It is so good. You could also add some of that caramel and some cinnamon sugar to the rim if you want to do that, and if you want to make an adult beverage, this is also great with vodka. Just throwing that out there if you want to do that for fall. And if you're more of a pumpkin craft buddy, no worries, I got you there too. I put this on top of my iced coffee, but you can put it on regular coffee as well. I mix 3 tablespoons of heavy cream, 2 tablespoons of milk, 1 tablespoon of pumpkin, and then you also want to add some sort of sweetener. I use stevia and some vanilla. I started with this original base from Becca Brews on TikTok, and I made her version. I didn't add sweetener, and I didn't add any vanilla, and it did not taste good. So that's why we test these. I added the sweetener, I added the vanilla, and this is so good. I crave this. It's not too pumpkin-y. You can definitely back off and do a half a tablespoon of the pumpkin. It's like a coffee shop pumpkin cold foam, but it's a fraction of the cost, and we're trying to save this fall. With fall comes the return of all those fall sports, and if you are a parent or have had kids in your car, you know that those soccer cleats, football cleats, they come with grass and a mess. So I like to have these Dollar Tree dish pans. I get one for just extra and then one for fin stuff. We load it in there, it catches all the grass, and it is super helpful because then all I got to do is dump that out. It's also great if you plan on visiting the pumpkin patch or the orchard because those muddy shoes go right in there as well. Another thing I swear by to keep our car clean when we are busy are these Dollar Tree buckets. I fill it up with a plastic bag and it becomes the best, you heard me, the best car garbage can. You can throw stuff in from the front seat if you've got kids in the back. They can easily toss it in there too. The wide open mouth catches everything and it's truly going to help keep your car clean. You guys know I love to use these Dollar Tree glow sticks to do glow baths. I toss them in the bath for Finn and they're so fun. And I wanted to have some items that were not food related for our trick-or-treaters. So I created these really fun tags that are 2.5 inches by 5 inches. And you can download these on my blog either through the link down below or scanning this QR code with your phone if you're watching on an iPad or a TV. I went ahead and cut them out, and then I'm adding just a slit to the top and the bottom. I folded it in half to create this little slit, not all the way through, just enough to slide your glow sticks through. These are going to be great to put in my non-food bucket, which I'll talk a little bit more about later in this video, but these are also great for your kids' classrooms or even some coworkers. If you want them to have a self-care night, you could change the tag up just a little bit and say, throw these in your bath for a fun, spooky self-care treat. I just love finding so many different ways this season that you don't have to try super hard or spend a lot of money, but let folks know you're grateful for them and give them a little bit of sunshine in their day. And while we're on the topic of non-food Halloween treats, I share this every year because it's something I am really passionate about. You can either buy a teal pumpkin or you can paint these pumpkin buckets. You can really paint them any color, but you can paint one teal. You could do blue or teal, and this is for the teal pumpkin project. If you spray paint them, you just paint the eyes with acrylic paint and then spray it with a clear sealant. And then I also have this free printable over in my file library that says non-food treats. I put things like straws. You could put things like these little Hey Boo skewers. You could do glow sticks like I showed, bracelets, really anything. And those are for the kids that have allergies or can't have candy, but they can still participate in trick-or-treating. If you're looking for some fun pendants to trick out your Halloween decor, your Halloween baskets, or even boo baskets for the kiddos in your life, these are over on my blog. You just literally cut them out. And then I buy a huge pack of Dollar Tree bamboo skewers. I print them on cardstock to make them rigid. And then you just fold this little flap over, glue it down, and then you can add some ribbon. I like this chiffon ribbon. I either get it on Amazon or at Hobby Lobby. Tie it on, and it is super fun. It's also fun to put in a gift if you're doing like you've been booed gift. So many different options, but you can grab those and do with them what you want because they are so fun and festive. Textured pumpkins are hugely popular, but they can get expensive. So let me show you how you can take some cheap and expensive Quikrete from Home Depot. This is just the regular concrete mix that you can mix up with water at home in a bucket. And then we're also going to use some of these Dollar Tree little trouser socks, or you can also use pantyhose. You're going to take one of them. You want to make sure that the toes are facing down so it is closed at the bottom. Put it over a cup and fill it up with some of that concrete. You want to make sure you cover your surface because as you can see, it's a little messy. I also had my gloves on so I didn't get concrete all under my nails and such. Then I also took some Dollar Tree rubber bands. We're going to put them around the outside, as many as you want, to create those grooves of the pumpkin. You can move it around. They are pliable until they dry, and I let them dry for a few days. I'm thinking like 3-4 days, make sure they're fully dry. Then you can take some scissors, cut off that pantyhose and those little rubber bands. It's going to pop off for you. It'll be a little dusty, so put a mask on, make sure you're being safe. But then after that, you can paint them, you can spray paint them, you can leave them as is. And then I just took this fun Dollar Tree one and a couple pumpkins I wasn't using anymore. I was going to donate anyway. I took off the stem and then I added a mixture of super glue gel and hot glue to stick on the stems on the top. You caught me on a crafting day here in my craft room for this next hack. I have wanted to try DTF or direct to film transfers for so long. I just put it off, or I was like, I'll do it later. And finally I was like, you know what? I want to make some shirts for fall and I want to see what all the fuss is about. So
The folks at Ninja Transfers were so kind to send me this. I was actually going to place an order on their website already on my own before they reached out and asked if they could send this to me, because I've seen their reviews and the reviews are great. So let's see. We're going to give it the whiskey and wet test and see. So what I got from them is called a gang sheet. You can get a gang sheet in a variety of lengths, and basically what that is a long roll of graphics. So ready for it? Ta-da! So this thing is full of graphics that I can put on pretty much any material. So we're going to test it out today. The first thing you want to do with your gang sheet when you get it is you can cut it apart into all of these individual graphics. So let's do that and then we'll get pressing. So I got a variety of different graphics. I got some Disney Halloween. I got a Christmas. I got this one that I designed myself. In my heart is a Griswold tree farm. I did my logo. I did some smaller ones and it keeps going. Look at this. All the way down to here. So let's get these cut apart so they're easier to work with. And then they also sent me, in every package you get this sheet. It's glossy, so it's hard to see with my lights on, but it shows you step by step on how to do it, which is great because I've never done this before.
As I'm going through and cutting everything out, I left about 1/4 to 1/2 inch around the outside. It doesn't have to be perfect, but there is a printing strip on the side of mine that I'm getting rid of that, because if you don't, then that will apply to your garment or whatever you're pressing this on. Now, they do say this goes on so many different substrates, different materials. I started with a bag. Now, here is where I went wrong. I started with my HTV Ront auto press, and the thing that drives me nuts about this is I can't adjust the pressure. You can put stuff in there and kind of try to hack it, but you can't get the medium to firm pressure that they said I needed for the setting. It said I needed 310 medium to firm pressure for about 12 seconds. Well, I pressed this a bunch of times and I was getting frustrated because I'm like, why is this not working? Like, everybody else says it's super easy. So I put it to the side and I thought maybe it's the pressure. So I went over and used my Easy Press, and that was a much better idea. I decided I wanted to put this Disney Halloween graphic on the back of a Walmart men's flannel. I buy the men's ones because they're longer on me. I am 5'11". And with my body weight pushing down, and I had to do section by section, and I ended up doing 3 presses for the 12 seconds, but then I was able to peel it back and it was great. So they said 12 seconds firm to medium pressure. I ended up doing 3 sets of 12, but that worked out. Maybe I wasn't pushing enough. Maybe I'm a weakling. I don't know. But once I was able to peel this off, I was like, yes, it worked. And that was what I was expecting. So word to the wise, you need a press, like one of those lever presses or something you can put body weight on. The plus here is you can use an iron. So you can use really any heat source that you have, which is great. So you could make this with an iron. You do not even need a Easy Press. Here's a hack within a hack for you. If you have a flannel like this and you want the arms to stay up, I saw this on TikTok. I can't remember what creator I saw it from, but all I took were these little hair elastics. You can see it. And I looped it through. So when I pull it up on my arm, it stays. When I cuff it, it always falls. So you pull it up, pull them up, they're going to stay. It's a similar trick if you've ever been pregnant before to try to get your pre-pregnancy jeans to fit. But then it's not super tight on your arms and you get this cute, relaxed look. So once that first one went well, I got excited. I made a Haunted Mansion t-shirt on this purple Comfort Colors t-shirt I had in my stash. And the other thing I really like about this DTF material is that it stretches, but it doesn't crack. And so that is helpful that it stretches. I also made this for Finn, who loves trains, and I didn't forget about that tote bag. Once I went back with my pressure, I was able to peel it off just as easy. So I am going to be doing these by hand just because that was a press problem, not a transfer problem. So just a word to the wise if you want to try it. But I also had to make myself a sweatshirt because if you give Whitney a branded tote bag, she's going to need a sweatshirt to go with it. These next 2 DIYs are inspired by a creator I found on TikTok called Pink Jasmine, and I love her DIYs. For the first one, she took this Dollar Tree soap container, and it looked a lot easier on her tutorial to use acetone to remove the face. I had a heck of a time, so instead I just decided to flip it around to the other side. I used a paint cap from this acrylic paint to trace on both white and black little craft foam pieces, and I cut them out. So you need 2 ears per ghost. I ended up making 2 with black ears and 2 with white ears. Then you're also going to want to make a cut on the craft foam, so then that way the ears will fit on to the ghost. You can kind of see where I'm going here. I attached the ears using some Dollar Tree super glue. Then I cut out these faces from my SVG I got from Wilder Crafting. I used her file to create my little ghosty bag charm that I showed in my Halloween video. So I will link that. I got it on Etsy. I cut out the faces and the cheeks. I applied those. And then I also added these bows to the Minnie Mouse ones. Now, I use super glue for the bows too, and you can see it. So I'm going to have to pull those off and re-glue. But how cute is this? This is actually the first one that I found from her, and I was obsessed. I actually found it last year, and I couldn't find one of these little, like, magical crystal ball things from Dollar Tree, or you can grab one of these little ones, but I went with the big one because it has lights and sounds. The only thing is, it looked more disco-y than what I was going for, which is Haunted Mansion. You guys know I love that. So I had to take the bottom off, and I used every single thing I had, but what worked was my weeding tool. I popped it off, and then all you had to do was twist this little like kaleidoscope thing off from the bottom, and that made it a lot more the vibe I was going for versus a disco ball. Then I took some antique gold rub and buff on my hand with a glove and just used it on the outside. She shared this too, and I thought it really just made the bottom pop and look a lot more Haunted Mansion-y like I was going for. Then the last step was to add Madame Leota. So you can do this one of 2 ways. One, you can grab my free file in my free file library and cut it out with a vinyl cutting machine like I did and apply it to the inside. Or you can get some vellum paper on Amazon and print it out in black. And then you can cut a circle and insert that into it, because with the light it will glow and you'll see it. So if you don't have a cutting machine, get some vellum paper. I'll have that link down below, and that is another option. Now, because this is delicate, I'm reverse weeding, so I put my transfer tape over the top of the decal. I'm peeling back that negative space, and then I'm going to use my weeding tool to get rid of any little bits that are still remaining. Then I took my transfer tape, shoved it up inside of my crystal ball, made sure she was where I wanted it, and applied. Then all you have to do is remove that transfer tape, put the bottom back on, and you have a super fun Haunted Mansion DIY. Again, a huge thank you to Pink Jasmine for this inspiration. I will link her TikTok and Instagram down below. If you like Disney inspired stuff as well as Dollar Tree, she's your girl. Ever since becoming a mom and having a little kid that likes to trick-or-treat, I've learned that trick-or-treat buckets take up so much space. We have so many. You use them once a year. So I decided to make a tote bag for Finn this year for trick-or-treating. I grabbed a Dollar Tree, $1.25 Juncture tote bag, and I cut out this Booty You file. This is another one of mine. I designed this because you guys have been loving the Disney inspired Halloween things I've been doing, and so I really like to listen to what you guys are leaving in comments and suggestions and really give you guys projects that you want to make. So once we cut everything out on the respective vinyl, I'm just using scraps, I'm going to cut the batt off of the black sheet. Now to get them to cut together, you're just going to attach all of the same colors in Design Space. So attach all your oranges, attach all your blacks, attach all your green, yellow, etc., purple, and then that is going to make it so you have a sheet like this where everything's in the right spot. I'm going to press the black. Now you saw I cut the batt off because of the layering, and this is a cool peel, so we are going to let it cool, peel it off, and then we are going to add our orange. The orange you're going to be able to line up because it fits with the black lines that you just put down. So get that all centered, and then we're going to grab that Teflon sheet again just because there's no carrier sheet on the black underneath and I don't want to melt that. And we are pressing that anywhere between 15 and 20 seconds. You want it to adhere, but you don't want to go the full 30-second time because you're going to put more heat on the top and you're going to scorch it. So you kind of have to play around with it. Start under and then add more if you need it, instead of adding too much and then having like crinkly, icky looking vinyl. I'm going to add my black batt, my purple No Tricks, all treats, plus little stars to the bottom, and the green leaf and the face, because none of it overlaps, so I could easily do that all in one pass. Let it cool, peel that off, and your bag is ready to go. I am so happy with how this turned out. I am getting more and more into digital design. I actually took some classes in college in like Photoshop, Illustrator, the Adobe suite, and I've been having such a blast designing these files for you guys. I hope some of you make this for kids, grandkids, etc. for Halloween. It is so fun.
That's going to do it for these fall favorites. Let me know if you like this style of video. I will definitely do one for Christmas if you do. Thanks so much for watching. Hit subscribe before you leave so you don't miss a future video, and I will catch you in the next one.